Money Radio, discussing the business of making and spending money.
From the beautiful hot city of Abuja, it is my pleasure to welcome you to the Energy Focus edition of Money Radio on Leadership TV. In the studio today is our in-house analyst, Nse Anthony Uko,
Good afternoon.
our regular, the delectable one. And we are discussing a topic that says decade of gas, fast-tracking gas production to meet rising demand. In Nigeria, the federal government has declared January 1, 2021 to December 31, 2030, the decade of gas. That is to improve or to increase gas production to meet local and international demand. However, as the demand has increased, production of gas has been on a decline over the past several months, and we can't blame it on the Ukraine crisis because long before the Ukraine crisis, we had started having this gas problem. So, what is going on? Nse, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Yes. What is going on?
Well, if we want to look at it, Nigeria has more gas reserves than crude oil reserves.
Yes.
As at January this year, Nigeria's proven gas reserve is at 209 trillion cubic feet of gas.
209 trillion cubic feet. I don't know if that can be broken down for us. How long can that take the country?
That will take the country for over 50, 60 years.
That is, if we are
If
producing
we are producing. And you know,
maximal production.
yes, maximal. And this is the proven reserves.
Yes.
But it's estimated that Nigeria has an unproven reserve of 600 trillion cubic feet.
My God.
So it means that as they'll keep increasing the proven reserves. So it means the capacity for gas production in Nigeria is immense. Is immense. So it's very apt that the federal government came in and declared a decade of gas. And the ambitious plan is that Nigeria will be entirely powered by gas by 2030. So
somehow I don't know if it's providence that we are having this. This is an opportunity because right now, considering the war in Europe between Russia and Ukraine, Europe, the West, so to speak, is so angry with Russia that they are diverting their dependence on gas, oil and gas, but especially gas, because it's gas they use to heat up their
of
buildings
course,
and to run their factories and to do many other things.
so much.
And to transition from one form of energy to another, we keep on talking about renewable energy, and that renewable energy that we're talking about is mainly green energy. And that is using solar, wind, and all of that. But it's not going to be easy to switch over from the use of gas because it will mean retooling, it will mean new infrastructure.
Yes. Even as
and that is not going to be a year or two matter. So this is an opportunity for Nigeria to claim that market, the market of the West.
Of course. There is immense, like I said, immense opportunity for Nigeria to really take its pride of place in gas production. um, with this level of proven gas reserves, it means that the Nigeria can actually supply all the gas that is needed by the West right now and Europe right now, if it puts its acts in order.
There was a pipeline that was supposed to link Nigeria to Europe, that is through the desert here and then into Morocco or something, just to link Europe. And there was a pipeline that was, is it the train 7 or train whatever? But there was a pipeline that was under construction. What is the
It
state?
was launched. It was launched late last year. That's the 27 to increase Nigeria's gas production. Okay, we've looked at Nigeria's proven gas reserves at 209.5 trillion cubic feet as at January 1, 2022. And with this, Nigeria is the sixth gas,
The highest
the
producer.
highest by number sixth in terms of the highest by reserves,
Okay.
and number ninth in terms of export. Sadly, in terms of usage, Nigeria ranks 38.
In terms of usage.
Yes.
That reminds me of, I don't want to quote Bob Marley because we are not what he's describing in that song. In the abundance of water, blah, 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 is thirsty, you know. But why are we hung? Why is that demand for gas not being met?
That is the irony of it, because like we have seen, the federal government through various programs, we have the national um, gas expansion program, we have other gas related initiatives that have been launched since 2016 up till now. And these initiatives were supposed to increase Nigeria's gas production. And also, because of the planned increase in gas production, Nigerians have been made to embrace the use of gas in their homes much more than which gas is considered a cleaner source of energy, cooking energy. And Nigerians have switched over. Many of them have switched over from the use of charcoal, from the use of firewood
Yeah.
to gas. But unfortunately, the country is not ramping up in production to meet this huge demand. We saw what happened last year during the um, scarcity of gas. Of course, it was a global problem, but Nigeria stood to have, if it had been doing
When you
enough.
say it was a global problem, we shouldn't find ourselves in that global problem when it should be a global problem for countries that do not have
Have,
reserves.
yes,
This is something that is,
that we
I
have
don't know
in
why
abundance.
we are in this situation because the same goes with crude oil. In the abundance of crude oil, we are importing
Importing the
petroleum,
finished
the
products
finished products. In the abundance of gas,
of
we are the
gas.
38th
We're the 38 in terms of
in terms of
consumption.
consumption. We have the sixth largest reserve,
Yes,
the
the
ninth.
ninth largest export, but in terms of consumption, 38. The gap is just too wide, and even accounting for just 0.5% of the world's consumption. So we have it in abundance. We are not even producing it for use
For use,
locally.
local use.
That should come very cheaply. So that is where we are at right now, and it's the decade of gas. and we are not seeing it's like the decade of gas has become more like a slogan.
Yes, that's the point there you have just made.
And
It's
it
just
has
like a
become
slogan.
like a
You
slogan
know,
at any energy fora, any forum. You find everyone is talking about decade of gas as the transition fuel, and a lot of rhetorics around it. But then when
no,
it comes down to the actual putting these plans to work to fast track um, the use of gas within Nigeria, and then expanding its exports, we are
it
yet.
makes me wonder when our politicians are making these declarations. Is it not based on plan? Because we usually see that those plans come to naught. We'll hear operation this, operation that, vision this, vision that. Vision 2020, you heard about the
Of course.
popular Vision 2020. We are
Mhm,
in 2022 now.
mhm.
Vision 2020 was not met. Vision 2020 was not originally that. There were other
2020,
visions
of course, it was
that were pushed,
revised.
revised editions of the
Mm,
visions.
mhm.
So it makes me wonder when our public politicians are making these pronouncements or these declarations, these when they're announcing these visions, are they not taking, are they not doing cost benefit analysis to know whether these things will fly or not? I wonder where, what, it it flabbergasts me really, and I see that we are lagging in all of these areas. Nigeria is supposed to be a rich country, not naturally rich,
Mm,
physically,
rich.
yes, in terms of just everything, because everything is here. Everything is here. And if you talk about manpower, or if you talk about skills, if you talk about the technical know-how, it is Nigerians that are being used by other governments that
Government.
are making the difference out there. So everything is here. I just keep wondering what is really happening. Why the country is so is still backward in. Well, I'm diverting from the topic. We are really talking about gas, and up to now, Nigerians had started getting used to
They
cooking
use
with
cooking
gas.
with gas.
We don't need gas for heating.
No.
That is not it.
Mhm.
We need gas for cooking, heat, but
Yeah.
as it relates to food.
Our industries
Yes, our industries also.
need
Yes, our
gas.
industries need gas, including this the electricity companies.
Yes,
They need gas.
we've really seen what the lack of gas has caused when it comes to energy, electricity generation.
Yes,
Most of the gas powered plants, they've not been able to generate up to capacity because of lack of adequate supply of gas. And then that now coupled with coinciding at a level where the water levels are low, and the hydropower dams could not produce maximally, and the country was actually plunged
in
into in
darkness.
darkness. So the use of gas, there are so various, many uses. Gas is in the long run cheaper and
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 more
cleaner.
efficient. It's
Yes,
cleaner.
more efficient. So with all the attendant health problems associated with running generators and all that, diesel or petrol by the industries, gas will eliminate all of that.
Funny enough, do you remember that the federal government at the time was talking about using? there's this name we call it, but where we'll have to fit in those special, not carburetors, but injectors to power cars.
Yes, of course. Of course. That has been do you know to my
So please hold on. Please hold on. We'll talk about that when we come from a short break.
okay.
Stay tuned, listeners. As we just take a short break, when we'll come back to talk about that and many other things.
For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.
Money Radio, discussing the business of making and spending money.
Welcome back, viewers. We're still talking about the decade of gas, how Nigeria can improve supply and meet demand locally and internationally. And of course, we know that there is an opportunity now that I will call a glorious opportunity waiting for Nigeria really to make money out of gas. In the studio with me discussing the topic is Mr. Anthony Uko, and she is our in-house analyst. Your host, Case Hammond. So, just before we went on that break, we were talking about a number of needs for Nigeria when it comes to the issue of gas. We talked about cooking our foods. We talked about um,
Electricity
generation, and then we're about talking about powering our cars.
Gas powered cars.
Yes.
Yes, the federal government had actually begun the process of conversion of engines. You know, the current.
It's just to fit.
Mhm.
It's just to fit a different injector
Yes.
or carburetor.
Yes,
Yes.
into the cars to
Yes.
enable them to change from the use of fuel,
Yeah.
petrol to gas. And sometimes earlier in January, there was a briefing with the minister, Honorable Minister of Petroleum Resources, and I thought it had to do with gas powered cars. To my amazement, the minister then there announced that the first 1,000 cars conversion will be achieved in the next 3 years.
My God. And so come again. I didn't get you clear. Come again.
I said that after
When was this?
This is early this year, if I'm January thereabout, if I'm not
You know,
mistaken.
if I had known about this, I wouldn't have gone about from filling station to filling station looking out for this.
Look,
You know,
So-
they said they told. I mean, it was everywhere on the
it
news.
was everywhere.
On the
It
news that
actually was
they had started
everywhere
fitting. Oh,
that they
my
had
God.
actually started doing this. But that meeting was that meeting was between the ministry, the federal government, and the private sector partners who would be installing these machines in their
Yes.
places where people can come and make this switch.
Yes.
And the target I saw, 1,000 cars in the next 3 years. And I was like, so when will all the cars get
We have about 12 million cars plowing Nigerian roads.
Nigerian roads?
I asked the question before we went on a break. What pushes these people to make these pronouncements when they are not ready?
I think it's international pressure.
Pressure from who?
We are in a, we are the globally they are talking energy transition, and I know even though Africa as a whole does not even contribute up to 3%
of
of
global.
global emissions,
Yes.
but the because of Africa's dependence on foreign funding, the heat has been on um, for the continent to switch to renewables. And you know the limitations that come with renewables. There are so many things that um, technological advancement and economic development, that industrialization that the West have taken advantage of using fossil fuel, and now the heat is on, that Africa must switch even when it contributes the lowest of emissions. So with all of this, that's why I feel there is some international pressure that makes them, come out to say these things. I really commended our president when he went to the COP 26 in Glasgow and had to stand his ground and say 2060.
Oh yes. Of course, everybody had to give his own year.
Yes. But even at that,
No, but to tell you
2060,
the truth, I feel sad and I feel disappointed. I had been looking out. See, there's this name we call it something gas. I've forgotten the name, but it's supposed to be gas actually for cars.
yes.
I was looking out for it at filling stations. At the time, national economy even went about making investigations how many filling stations in
Abuja.
Abuja were actually distributing gas, as in gas.
Mm.
Just to hear that it's in the next 3 years that we'll have the 1,000, the first 1,000 cars. That is disappointing, really disappointing. And I will say again, nobody is forcing these people to make these pronouncements.
I think it also has to do with the cost. They had placed a
There
cost of
should be
200
cost
and
benefit analysis before
there
a
had been a
government.
cost of 250,000 for conversion of each car. So I from the look of that, it's a capital
Intensive.
intensive project. And since it was not going to be handled by the federal government, the private sector partners were not also ready to commit their own their own funds into it without some form of incentives by government. That's what that meeting was about. So, maybe the government makes those pronouncements without working out the finer details. And then in the process of beginning implementation, all those issues begin to come up and it stalls the process. However, we were talking about gas.
Let's go back to the issue of gas because
Yes, yes.
you to tell you the truth, you have actually depressed me today.
In the last 5 years, the there have hardly been fresh investments in
Production of gas.
production of gas.
So why?
It has actually
What about
declined.
NLNG?
NNLG does that. That is on the government.
Yeah, but it's a government, it's a
Yes,
public-private
it's
sector
a public-private sector
partnership.
partnership, but NLMG can't produce all the gas. There's some options for private investors,
Including foreign investors.
including foreign investors.
So, what is holding them back? Is it the laws that are not, Are the laws not enabling them?
Of course, that brings us to the issue of the PIA, which
good.
they have been
So what
saying
about
has
this
been
PIA?
stalling.
Yes. What about the PIA that is making it that is discouraging investors from coming in? Because when it comes to the issue of investment, once there is the market for a product, that is the opportunity to make money.
Of course. Of course, like the PIA was passed last year after several years, more than
And
20
it will
years.
seem
And
like
within
the
that
PIA is
time,
we may be back silently. We may be back with the PIB.
well, the authority, the institution saddled with that responsibility said progress is being made, and some of them at some of the fora that have been privileged to attend have been highlighting some of the progress that they are making in terms of implementation. So it may just not be as fast as we would have anticipated, but from their own perspective, work is actually going on the ground, and we would begin to see some of these things.
So, as a final word, what would you say? What word of encouragement? Because your eyes in that sector, in the energy sector, your eyes in that sector are more than our eyes. So, as a word of encouragement, what? Okay, let me not let me not force a word of encouragement out of your mouth, because I may end up forcing you to say things that will not come to fruition in the near future. So I won't force you. What is the future for gas in Nigeria?
The future of gas in Nigeria is great. However, like analysts are saying, the government, they need to start walking the talk.
And what can the government do?
Enabling environment is there.
Okay.
Incentives, create the enabling environment for private sector to be able to come in. Then the PIA has been passed, fast track implementation of the relevant segments of it that would encourage Nigerians and then the foreign investors to put down their funds into this area that is so needed, and then the available structures like the LNG that is already producing, be able to ramp up their production so that there will be much more gas. Nigerians they have embraced the use of gas, and it will really be it won't augur well for the country if after getting them to see the usefulness, the benefits of gas over like other dirtier sources of cooking fuel like firewood and kerosene and the rest, they having to go back there.
Yeah, those are really dirty sources of energy. Thanks for being with us today. That's how we want to draw the curtain on today's Money Radio. That is the energy focused edition of the program on Leadership TV. It's a thanks for always being here with us, and we want you to know that we appreciate your presence always. Thanks to you, our producers, and we say thanks to you mostly, those of you who follow us loyally on this program. Until we meet tomorrow for another edition of Money Radio, I've been your host, Case Hammond, and the word from this studio is have a nice rest of the day, and stay blessed, stay safe.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.